What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are going to break down UFC Fight Night, Jared Cannonier versus Robocop Gregory Rodriguez. Not going to sugarcoat it. Not a ton of great fights here, but there's a few. Let's break it down. It's Saturday night. You know we're going to watch them anyways, so let's see what we think here. First fight of the night: Julia Avila 9-3 versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti 8-1. Cavalcanti should roll here. Julia Avila looked absolutely horrendous in her last outing. Obviously, she's gotten older. She got clobbered by Misha Tate of all people. Not that Cavalcanti is amazing, but she is the far superior striker here. She shouldn't get taken down. She should be fine wherever it goes. It's a women's fight, so it probably will go a little bit like there maybe Cavalcanti over 1.5 for extra value kind of thing. But there's not really much threat coming back from Avila. So definitely on the Jacqueline side. What do you think?
Yeah, Jacqueline for sure. Volume's on her side. Takedown defense is on her side. Only problem she has is no finishing upside, no finishing power. I don't know if she can beat Avila. Avila is there to just get done, finished, retired. You know what I mean? But I'm not sure Cavalcanti has that kind of power in her. Yeah, minus 550 stinks. The decision line kind of stinks too. It's minus 225. If you really want to do, I think a safe bet is Cavalcante decision and most significant strikes if your book offers it that because there ain't no way Julia Avila is gonna outstrike her volume wise in this fight. So yeah, I mean I don't know. Avila is gonna be slower. She doesn't have a ground game and shit. I I just think she's overworked, younger fighter. Like, is she in it? I don't think she's in it to win it anyway.
All right. Next fight of the night, going to the heavyweight division, we got Walter Walker 12-1 taking on Don'Tale Mayes 11-7. Walker, the 2-1 favorite. Not a very good fighter. This is a horrendous fight, to be honest. This has all the makings of sloppy heavyweight fight. If Walker can get him down, sure, he's got the better ground game. But I mean, I don't know. Is Don'Tale Mayes? First of all, I always bet against Don'Tale Mayes. I think Don'Tale Mayes stinks. Like I think he's just a sloppy, plodding striker. But he somehow makes fights, I don't know, somewhat close. He pulls them out of his whatever. Like I think this is a fight that should be dead even pick them because they both stink. Walter Walker is not good, and if he can't get those takedowns, if he gasses anything at all like that, there's a path where Don'Tale Mayes beats this guy. I don't like the odds. I can't believe I'm saying dog or pass for me, but I think it has all the makings to be a horrendous fight. What do you think?
I'm not gonna say dog or pass, but I'm not also gonna say that Don'Tale Mayes doesn't have a path to victory here. I think Walter Walker is supposedly deemed to be a wrestler at the heavyweight division. So I'm assuming that he's the better grappler here. He should be the better grappler here, and he should be able to take Don'Tale Mayes down. And Don'Tale Mayes on his back is a fish out of water. On the feet, Walter Walker stinks on the feet. There's no technique behind it. He throws these big, gross, loopy shots. They're so slow. Mays at least carries some power in his hands. He's not technical to any like bit, and he gets tired pretty quickly. So I'm picking Walter. I'm picking Walter based on wrestling, and that's about it. I think this is going to be a gross, nasty fight. Now, if he can't employ the wrestling, Dontel Mays has a really good shot here, but I'm going to take the grappler,
All
supposed
right.
grappler.
Next fight of the night, 135-pound division. We got Vince Morales coming in at 16-8 versus more of the young prospect Elijah Smith 7-1. Elijah Smith is basically on paper the better athlete. He should be the more explosive, quicker athlete. I don't know that he's more talented by any means. I don't really know that. Maybe he's a slightly better wrestler, but I don't think he's necessarily the better grappler. I don't think he's a great striker. Vince Morales has a ton of experience. Obviously, if you're looking at the records, you're going 16-8, 7-1. One guy's stronger. I mean, Elijah Smith is the stronger fighter here, stronger strength, not skilled. But the problem is I don't know. These kind of muscle wrestle athletes, they gas. So I don't know. Elijah Smith, I don't think he's just going to ragdoll Vince Morales. And, he might look good for a round, but is he going to gas out? Is it going to tighten up? And then is Vince Morales going to take over? We don't know. I wouldn't be betting money on this fight. I'd be looking at all the overs, but I don't see any props yet, and I just don't think there's any reason to play it personally. What do you think?
If I was going to bet this fight, I'm going to bet Vince Morales, just on a simple fact that Elijah Smith, yeah, he's a push forward wrestler, He's been doing that on the regional scene all up until his debut here. But like, who's he really faced, man? He hasn't really faced anybody on the regional scene. And you know what? He's going to decisions against Aaron Tao. He looked okay in that fight, and his hands don't look that polished at all. Vince Morales, this is his second stint in UFC. I looked at some of those fights on the regional scene after he left between that and this fight now. He's been dummying guys on the regional scene. So he kind of supposed to be at the UFC level. And we have those red flags on Elijah Smith. We don't know if all of the good stuff is going to translate to this level. So we know Vince Morales is dogging him. He beat Hunter Azure, who a lot of people like, but I don't like too much. Beat him by a Peruvian necktie. So if this guy's shooting, at least you can count on Vince Morales going for shit. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna go for shit. I don't know what Elijah Smith is gonna do. I haven't seen enough of him, and everybody that he's fought hasn't been UFC caliber. So yeah, man. I mean, Vince Morales came back. What he fought? Taylor Lapilus. He didn't look. Was it Taylor Lapilus? I believe it was Lapilus. He didn't look too bad in that fight. Lapilus is a better striker, way more technical. You know what I mean? Supposed to win that fight, but it's not like Lapilus dummied him. Like Gutierrez, I believe he leg kicked him to death fucking in his first UFC. So yeah, man, I'm going with Morales here. I think I'm gonna take a dog shot. At least I know what Vince brings. I don't know what Elijah Smith brings, and debuts and all that shit. Vince Morales, baby, let's go.
All right, moving to the welterweight division. I'm surprised this is a prelim actually. We got Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. Um, I really always kind of look to fade these Bonfim brothers. I'm not big on them, to be honest. The problem I have is I'm not big on Chaos Williams either. I think Chaos Williams can win this fight. He definitely can. He is a very strong, very explosive person. I mean, if he can keep it standing, there's a world where he stuffs the takedowns and he knocks Gabriel Bonfim out. There's absolutely that world. The problem I have with Chaos Williams is the volume. He does not throw enough for my liking. So I don't know that he can gas Gabriel out because Bonfim can be we saw Dalby do it. If you can make it a dogfight, if you can extend the fight, make it a crazy pace, a crazy volume, he can gas out and maybe like he doesn't have the heart to grind through. I'm not saying he doesn't have a heart or whatever, but like whatever. You make it a dogfight, I think there's a path to beat Bonfim, but I don't think Williams can make it a dogfight. He's too busy looking for that one shot. And I just don't know. I think Bonfim probably can win this fight. I don't think he's going to gas here. Basically, I don't think he's going to drown from volume. I don't think he's going to gas out. So I am going to take Bonfim, sadly, but I always do look to fade him. What do you think?
Monfils is a more well-rounded fighter here. He's also the faster fighter, and I believe he would have the better ground game in this instance as well, right? So Bonfim, you talk about the Dolby fight. Yeah, he gassed himself out that fight. He death gassed pretty much. A lot of wrestling in that fight in the first two rounds, though. I don't see that he has to wrestle quite simply in this fight in the first two rounds as much. Maybe he wants to mix it in a little bit. But like you said, Chaos doesn't throw a lot of volume. He throws out one punch power. If you can roll with the punches and throw three back, I think that's the recipe for success here. He's the way more well-rounded athlete. The fight against Ange Lusa was really good because it showed that his gassing problem, he's obviously working on it, and he looked better in that fight. He didn't look death gas by the end, and he actually took over. He got taken down four times in that fight, and he got up and he still fought, and he outstruck him, doubled him 100 and something to 50. So, like, I think that's the same thing here, except Chaos Williams won't push a takedown. He'll just try to hit him with that one punch. Watch for the right hand, baby. But Bonfim's the better well-rounded fighter here.
All right. Next fight of the night, we've got undefeated Rafael Estevan, 12-0 versus Jesus Aguilar, 11-2. Estevan should be better everywhere. He should be the better striker. He should be the better wrestler. I mean, Aguilar, he's good in those scrambles. He's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter by any means, but he's very small. He's just a short, strong guy. If he can grab you, sure, he can finish you with those chokes. But I mean, a 12-0 grappler should not be getting caught in a choke. Like he shouldn't. He shouldn't get caught here. So barring him gassing out or getting caught in a choke, he should be the better fighter here. So I am going to take Esteban to be the better striker and just better all around fighter and not get caught. What do you think?
I think the same. He does slow down sort of as fights go on, but like he doesn't slow down to the point where he doesn't push that grappling, right? And he was one of the few people in the UFC that's able to hold down Charles Johnson for, periods of time. Charles Johnson's usually scrambling back up to his feet, and he held him down. That's good. He has good control on the ground. He may not need too many takedowns here. Aguilar does accept position because he likes to pull that gilly all the time. I don't think the gilly works here. He has a good guillotine. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if he pulls guillotine, that's probably his path to victory in this spot, right? So he won a controversial decision against Mendonca a couple fights ago. Then he beat Stuart Nickel with the same fucking gilly, I believe. So he's not a bad fighter, but I just think he's out grappled here. Now, a spot I really like is Estevan by decision at plus 150 because Aguilar is Mexicano and I don't think they get knocked out. I don't think he taps him on the ground. So I really like plus 150 on Estevan by decision. I do think he rides out top position quite a bit in this fight.
Yep. Next fight of the night, we've got Jared Gordon, 20-7, taking on last-minute replacement Mashrabjan Ruziboev, Nursultan's brother. Not a giant like Nursultan. The whole world's on Jared Gordon here. Small camp for Ruziboev, but for me, it's dog or pass. I'm Ruziboev or pass. I hate Jared Gordon. I just personally can't bet money on him. I can't root for a guy like he's not bad, and I'm sure he's not a bad person or whatever. But I just find him so boring. Too much wall install. I know he's an okay boxer, but I actually think he has durability issues. But he's okay boxer, okay, like he's okay at everything, but too much wall install. I hate that standing on the fucking fence style. I can't pick it. I can't root for it. I can't put my money on it. Like I can't do it. And even though I have no idea what I'm gonna get out of Ruziboev on a few days' notice here or whatever, I know he can crack. Wild, not technical. He's probably not like Jared Gordon would probably beat him in a boxing match. Big gloves, less chance of getting slept with one shot. He's probably the more technical fighter, 100%. But he still does. He hits hard, and I'm gonna root for it. For me, it's dog or pass. I can't bet Jared Gordon. I know everybody's on Jared Gordon. What do you think?
I'm not on Jared Gordon. That's weird. And we didn't even talk about this fight. Um, so this kind of like mimics when Nursultan came into the UFC, he came in on short notice and like a week's notice, and he dusted his first match and it was just like, he just went nuts, remember? And I think that can happen here. Listen, man, Ruziboyev is the more pressure fighter because he's every fight I've ever seen on YouTube or anything that I've looked at the tape on this guy, he's the guy pressing forward right away. Two, tons of guys have tried to take him down, and he's one, jumped a gilly on one, need the guy in the head on another. So he doesn't accept like Jared Gordon trying to push him up against the cage. I like that in a fighter, not accepting that stupid ass position and just getting ridden out. And maybe Jared Gordon's more technical in the striking. Maybe he has that better, but he's going to be slower. Well, that's one thing. And another thing is he really that technical? He plods forward. He's slow. Dude, I'm with you on the damn fucking durability issues. I'm with you on that. Honestly, I just don't see this guy accepting position. Jared Gordon makes guys accept position. Now, the only caveat I have to putting a decent sized bet on him is the red flag is like, has he been training for this? Is he gonna gas out? Is he a one rounder bust? Those are the red flags you got to worry about. But honestly, on if this was full camp versus full camp, bro, Ruziboyevs are badasses, and I don't like the way Jared Gordon fights, and I think he's the much slower fighter in this fight, and I think it's to his demise.
I like that we're on the same page. We never talked about it. I
I
didn't
talked
think that
about
we'd be
this
on the
fight.
same
I am.
page.
I watched tape on. I didn't know about it until this morning. Watched the tape. I was like, no, this guy's not just gonna get pushed. I don't. I can't see him accepting. I can't see him accepting.
I like it. I like it. Next fight of the night, 115-pound women's division. We got Angela Hill, 17-14. We know her records could be far different. She got screwed on a lot of decisions. Taking on Ketlin Souza, 15-4. I mean, I feel like the past year or two, we've kind of found ourselves liking Angela Hill by decision, like or with all the overs. Like she's kind of turned the page and turned into a better fighter, or she was for a little bit. She kind of went on a little bit of a run, and then she's kind of fallen back off the last couple of fights. And on top of that, Ketlin Sousa seems to be getting a lot better. She seems to be hitting hard. She's the much harder hitter for sure. The much harder hitter. I mean, unless Angela Hill peppers her to death, like gasses her out, over volumes her or something like that. Like I'm not too sure how Angela Hill wins this fight. I mean, we know how she wins the fight, volume and length, but I think Ketlin Souza is going to have the far more damaging strikes. I think she's the better. I don't know. I think she's the more dangerous girl here. I like Ketlin Souza. I thought she looked fantastic last fight. What do you think?
I'm on Angela Hill on this one. I just think she peppers her. Honestly, I did watch that fight against Gary, but Yaguri or whatever her name is, Yasmin. Yo,
Uh,
Yasmin's chinny, bro. She was actually controlling
she
the
fucking clocked her, man.
yeah, she clocked her, but like I've seen Angela Hill get clocked and still come back. What's her name? Lemos did it, knocked her down in the first round, and she arguably won that fight. Arguably. I mean, so like, I don't know. I just don't see enough volume coming from Ketlin Souza. And honestly, I think Angela Hill's grappling has got better in the last few years, and she can use it against the Souza. Because as the fight goes on, I feel like she fucking slows down. And I seen it in tape. So, Angela Hill obviously doesn't slow down. She's just gonna watch the shots, but it kind of reminds me of that Luana Pinheiro fight she had a couple fights ago. Well, Pinheiro is a girl that knocks clocks hard too, right? And what did Angela Hill? She overwhelmed her, right? So I feel like that's the game plan here. Just overwhelm Ketlin Souza. The cleaner strikes, the more strikes, and I think she's gonna mix in the ground game.
Oh, we'll see. I like the matchup.
Good.
We'll
It's a
see.
good
We're on
one.
opposite
It's a
sides.
50-50 to fight, right?
All right, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. I am surprised the last fight's not flipped with this one because main card fight we got Jose Delgado 8-1 taking on Connor Matthews 7-2. Not what you'd expect for a main card fight over two girls that both have names, but Jose Delgado 8-1, 8 finishes, very explosive, looks to be a great fighter. He can crack, he can strike for sure. Connor Matthews fairly durable, fairly well rounded. I guess what we need to see here is Jose's gas tank being tested because all finishes. So you could say it's a red flag, you could say it's a green flag. He's a finisher. We love to see that, but we don't know what it looks like when he faces someone who's durable, someone who can push back. The problem I have is Connor Matthews isn't overly dangerous. Um, he's just a well-rounded fight. Like he's well-rounded, tough guy, whatever. But I think Jose Delgado is better than that. I think he's gonna be the better striker. I think he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna knock him out, but I just think he's gonna be ahead on the striking, and I don't think he's gonna get out grapple fucked here. What do you think?
Tyler Matthews might actually have a slight grappling edge, but I don't think it's very that much. But he is losing out on the power and the striking edge. Delgado is a little wild though. He does leave openings for better punchers. I just don't think Connor Matthews is that type of puncher. I watched that fight against Dennis Bazooka where I think I actually had Connor Matthews in that fight against Dennis Bazooka his last fight. And he let Bazooka just roll on him, and it was awful. And I don't think Dennis Bazooka is half the fighter that Jose Delgado looks like on tape. So yeah, I think Jose Delgado. This is a show fight. That's the reason it's on the main card. I think they really like Jose Delgado. This is a spot where they set him up for victory. So he's just got to take it, use his skills. Connor Matthews is. They put him here for a punching bag. Maybe he's not. Maybe he isn't. But if you go tape for tape on both guys, Delgado probably knocks him out. And that's what it looks like based on what I've seen.
All right. Next fight of the night, we got Rodolfo Viera 10-2, Andre Petroski 12-3. They look like similar fighters. They're both good grapplers. They're both pretty big, strong guys or whatever. Problem is, Rodolfo Vieira is a world champion grappler. Yes, you'll see that he got tapped out early in his UFC career. He gassed out. You might as well call it tapping to exhaustion. Rodolfo Vieira is the better submission fighter here. I think he's the better striker here. I know some people do think Petroski has that route to victory. He's looked okay in his last few fights, but I don't see it here. I don't think he's gonna just try to out wrestle him and stay on top for 3 rounds and play it safe. It's not really necessarily Petroski's style. I feel like he kind of has durability issues himself. So I think Rodolfo Vieira inside the distance for me. What do you think?
I got Viera inside the distance. I think he is the better striker. He showed that in that Chris Curtis fight because I don't think Andre Petroski stays anywhere close in that fight against Chris Curtis if they were to fight the same way. And he showed levels up in that. His gas tanks looked better. I mean, it hasn't had to use it in the last couple of fights, but he's looked better than in that fluffy fight where he got absolutely murked. He get that third round submission against I can't remember who it was. But it was a few fights ago, and it was a third round submission. It was Dustin Solsfuss, and he was arguably probably losing that fight at that point, and he came back and he showed that in round three he's still dangerous, right? So Petroski has won his last couple fights, but how has he been winning these fights? It's been taking guys down and laying on top of them and using the ground game. Yo, bro, I don't know if that's a good idea in this fight. Like, Viera has no problem being taken down because he has no problem trying to sweep you, right? So like, oh yeah, Petroski has top pressure, blah blah blah. Yo, he took him 3 rounds to knock out. I mean, to tap out that Chinese guy, and it took him 3 rounds to top out Michael Gilmore. Bro, I don't see fucking Rodolfo giving you 3 rounds to tap him out. So, or even like do that. So, yeah, man, I think Viera is actually the more well-rounded fighter in this fight. So I go with.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Ismail Bonfim, 20-4, Nazim Sadykhov, 9-1-1. Unlike the other Bonfim brother, actually, I'm not going to compare their styles or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think this one's as good. I'll say that. I think Sadykhov can out grapple him. I think he's a tough enough guy that he's not going to get knocked out because he has gone through adversity in some other fights and he's come back. So he's shown he can come back. So I'm not sure that Bonfim can just overwhelm him early and get him out of there. And again, these Bonfim brothers, they're so explosive that they risk blowing their wad. And I don't think this one is going to want to grapple too much. I like the dog here. I like Sadykhov. I don't think Sadykhov's amazing by any means, but I think he's a pretty tough, underrated fighter. And I think he has the skills to win this fight. I think he's more well-rounded. I honestly do. What do you think?
I think he has a better ground game, but I do think Bonfim should be able to like keep it standing for most of this fight. He does get taken down, but he's shown the propensity to get up, or only in that Benoit Saint Denis fight. But Benoit was on the heater at that point. My problem with Sadykhov though is like that fight against Evan Elder. If there wasn't a cut on Buddy's eye, I think he loses that fight. If Terrence McKinney had half a gas tank, he loses that fight too. Um, Bonfim, aside from the Benoit Saint Denis fight, he looked okay. I mean, that last fight, was it Vince Morales? I think it was Vince Morales. Was it Vince Morales? No, I can't remember who it was. It was Vince Pichel. That was it. He looked good against Pichel. Pichel's a good fighter, man. But he's a little
He's
bit
40
old.
years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was old at the time, but he's still, a lot better than fucking anything Sadykhov's any done. I just don't like Sadykhov. He doesn't win any minutes, and then he's waiting for a good spot, right? Unless Ismail Bonfim is going to gas or get taken down. And now the problem with Sadykhov, when he takes guys down, he doesn't pull that Benoit Saint-Denis go for the fucking gold kind of stuff. When Benoit takes you down, he's on you, right? Sadykhov doesn't go on you. He finished Terrence McKinney because Terrence McKinney has no gas tank. If he had half a gas tank, I swear to God, Terrence McKinney would have finished that guy. I love Terrence McKinney, but fucking guy.
You love Terrence McKinney?
I love him. I think he's a really good fighter, and I think he's so well rounded. And I just wish he would do some cardio, anyways.
I don't even know if it's so much a cardio. I think these guys just they throw everything like they're so explosive that they can't manage their gas tank. But whatever. That's neither here
Yeah,
nor there.
I mean, Bonfim did throw 111 strikes in that fight, and on his Dana White Contenders Series, he threw 85. That'd be more than enough to win this fight. And Bonfim also KO'd Terrence McKinney with that knee, and it looked a lot better than what.
Oh, that was a fucking awesome debut.
Yeah, so anyway, I think Bonfim has the volume edge here, and aside from Sadykhov laying on him, which I don't think is going to happen, I think he loses.
See, next fight of the night, we got Edmund Shahbazyan, 13-5, coming in as a massive favorite against I don't know if it's Dylan or Dylan Budka, 7-4. I don't know how anybody can bet Shahbazyan is a huge favorite. Like, listen, he's the way better striker. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But this guy in every single fight is fighting his cardio and he's fighting the takedown because it seems like everybody can take him down in the second round, and he gasses every time in the second round. Like this guy always looks great in the first. I mean, he has to win this fight, right? Like he has to. On paper, he has to win this fight, and he should. He's a big guy. He's, like I said, far superior striker. Budka is not great at anything. Let's be real. He's not like some amazing wrestler who should just take him down with ease. So I have to pick Shahbazyan. I have to, but there's no way I'm betting this guy at minus 400 or whatever the hell he's sitting at right now. I don't even know. I know he was a very big favorite. I wouldn't trust him on those odds. What are you saying?
He's minus 350, and I don't trust him at all, but he is the better striker. He should finish this fight. Um, but Dylan Budka, I mean, if he does one thing in his fights is he does wrestle. This is the same guy that took down Cesar Almeida for a round, then gassed himself out, but that was on a week's notice. So I don't know if his gas tank's any better. I mean, Budka is a guy that's gone to several decisions in his lifetime, several decisions. Not the same can be said for Edmund Shahbazyan. And yeah, man, I'm picking Shahbazyan. I'm not betting this fight. But if this fight gets somewhere into the second round, and I can see some body language going down, I don't mind pulling a Dylan Budka live bet because the wrestling edge is there if he really wants to use it. And I mean, it's small, and Dylan Budka, I don't hold him in high regard, but he does have the wrestling edge.
All right, co-main event of the evening. I'm actually like depressed to look at this matchup. We got Calvin Kattar, 23-8, taking on Yusuf Zalal, 16-5-1. Zalal has looked phenomenal in his second stint, finishing everybody, all finishes since he's come back. The striking looks good. The jiu-jitsu we always knew was good. Like his submissions are fantastic. And Calvin Kattar has just been on this horrendous slide of I don't want to even say like he's just gone terrible, but he's been fighting killer after killer after killer, and now he gets Yusuf Zalal. Like, give the guy a fucking break, man. The guy needs a step down in competition. He does. He does not need to be fighting Yusuf Zalal right now. The guy took an absolute pummeling by Max Holloway, and then he goes on. It seems like he's lost a bunch in a row, and they were not competitive. I think it was one Arnold Allen. I don't know. Aljamain
Arnold
Sterling
Allen
last.
hurt his leg, remember? And then he fought
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Delgado and got fucking humped for 3 rounds.
Either way, he needs a step down, and he just got dominated by Aljamain Sterling in what was a pretty boring fight, but it was still a domination. And now he's fighting Yusuf Zalal, who I think I might take a ton of flack for this, but I think he's a more dangerous fighter than Aljamain Sterling.
Oh,
I
fuck
think he's a
yeah.
better.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he's a better striker, and I think his submissions are better. Like I think like just fuck. What did Calvin Kattar do to the UFC to be fucking fight? Like he needs a step down, man, because another loss, and he's got the guy's got to be questioning everything. I'm sure his confidence is shot. Another loss, and potentially a bad loss here, and it's like everyone's going to be saying it. Retire, you're done, and it's probably true. Like, but I just don't like the matchup. I think he should be fighting lower on the card and fighting someone that he can beat. This matchup just seems like a slam dunk for Yusuf Zalal, so I'm definitely on him. I don't even know what the odds are sitting at right now, but I'm on Zalal. What do you think?
They're big. They're minus 450, but it's warranted. I think he's just the better fighter here. Honestly, though, I don't know. Cameron Cater's a pretty tough guy, and
Oh, he's tough.
I don't know if it's a decision by Zalal, but I don't think he's going to just dominate him in the first round and just tap him out. So I'll probably lean Zalal over 1.5 to be safe on the safe side. I can see us. I can see a late finish. There's so many Calvin Kattar fights. If he wasn't such a tough son of a bitch, there'll be a late finish. Like, let's go with the Max Holloway fight. Who was the referee for that one? He's a fucking idiot because Kattar was done and he probably should have just stopped the fight. I mean, I won money on it because before Max finished Justin, I took Max at every single decision known to man. So, but anyways, Zalal's the faster striker. He might not be the better technical striker, but he's technical in his own right. Don't get me wrong. The takedowns are his. The ground game's his. The control on the ground's his. I mean, I don't think he knocks out Calvin Kattar. I also don't think he TKOs him. But if you like the plus 300 on the Zalal submission, I do think that's the. I
That's
think
what we won money on last time. I
that's
remember I bet it last second. He had like a plus 550 sub prop, and I'm like,
right.
what? He's won his last 3 fights by submission. Of course.
No, but like yeah, when he gets on the ground, he goes for that. So if he's gonna finish Cater, it's not gonna be by punches because this guy's made out of lead. It's gonna be by tap. So you can either go submission decision line or submission line itself. I think that's the bet to make on Zalal. He doesn't knock him out. I don't think he
Oh.
knocks him out.
Oh, he hurts him and subs him, club and sub or something like that. I don't know. Either way, yeah, I'm on the Zalal submission because I don't need to be playing minus 400. I'll take the plus 300 on the submission for sure. He's won his last 3 by submission.
Right, but even if he's overwhelming him with strikes, we've known that they don't stop Calvin Cater fights, right? So they won't stop it. So
They
he's
want him to die.
no, like he's gonna and Zidal, I mean, for all of the good punches he does, he doesn't he wouldn't put him on like Max was putting it on that in that fight. I've never seen him do that. I've seen him strike well, but I've never seen him put a that sort of like
20
expedition.
punch
Yeah, I've
combination.
never seen that. Yeah,
All
man, I like
right.
the subline, bro. I like the subline.
Yep, no, I agree 100%. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we got Jared Cannonier 17-8 taking on Gregory Robocop Rodriguez 16-5. Cannonier obviously far higher up on the rankings, but he's also on a slide. I believe his last fight was when he got stopped by Imavov. Some people thought it was controversial. I don't really. Cannonier is a guy I've never been big on. I don't like his volume. I've always said low volume, even though every now and then he puts up a fight where the numbers suggest he threw a ton. I don't know. I've never liked it. A lot of leg kicks. He throws hard leg kicks. He's been fairly hard to take down, so I don't know if Gregory Rodriguez will be able to use his way better grappling game here. But I think if he can march him down and tee off on him, I think he can hurt Cannonier and put him away. Obviously, Rodriguez might be a little bit chinny, might be. He's been knocked out before, but I think that was a hell of a punch. But Cannonier hits as hard as anyone, so he's live for the haymaker. But I think Rodriguez will be the one walking him down and just pounding to the body, pounding to the head. Like I know you're a decision guy and all that, but I just feel like one of these two guys is going to go down because if Rodriguez is stalking him down, he's going to put it on him, and I think he puts him away. And if he walks into a big punch, then he gets put down. So I actually do see a finish here, but I guess I always call finishes. You always call the overs, but I'm on a finish, and I got to go with Rodriguez here. But I'll be looking at some kind of under regardless. You?
Decision is hard for me to go here. It's a tough one because I think the skills that Rodriguez have are kind of. I mean, how do I put it this way? I think Cannonier's on the decline, to be quite honest with you. And for those fights that he won, uh, what was the only one he looked good in? It was I would say it would be that Marvin Vettori fight, and he still almost let Marvin come back and sort of win that fight. I don't think he looked that good against Sean. I think he actually
I thought
put
he lost that
the
fight.
fight right, and obviously didn't look good against Israel. Didn't look tired and sort of old against Caio in his last fight too, which was very bad. I mean, Gregory Rodriguez looks like he's a 55-year-old geriatric, but he's only 32. Let's be honest with you.
Looks juicy. Let's he looks sus.
He does.
Not for me to
No,
say, whatever.
I don't know, man. But whatever, those Brazilian guys. Is he going to use his ground game? I don't know. I mean, Cannonier's pretty good at getting not taken down, but he did give up takedowns to Marvin Vettori. And Marvin Vettori is, just a meathead in my books, right? He just put a 60% takedown defense, but I can't see Rodriguez not at least trying one or like mixing it in or feinting takedowns and going for like an overhand right or something like that. Honestly, though, this is my main only thing is just like Cannonier could probably have better volume than Rodriguez. But Rodriguez likes to start slow and take fights over, and this is a 5 round fight. I don't think it gets stopped in the first round. I think it's more of like a third round ish. Something stop. It's kind of like that Imavov third, fourth area. Yeah. I think Rodriguez right now just hits harder, is probably faster, has a better ground game. And man, I've seen a decline in the skills in Cannonier, right? I mean, he looked a little gun shy against Kyle, and I think that was his path to victory is to smack him, right? So
40 years old at middleweight. I mean, no shame in slowing down, but he's slowing down.
I mean, I didn't want to admit it, but like, yeah, man, the decline's looking. He looked really not sharp against Dimavov. He might have started off like, but the first round is always going to be good for him because he looked pretty good to begin that fight, and it just went downhill from there, right? So, yeah, I'm on Rodriguez. I think actually RoboCop, aside from that one fight again, I think it's Bruno Ferreira. That man hits like a truck, right? So. And he's shown that Bruno Ferreira's shown that he's not like a one-trick pony. He's won fights after that. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but he does well at what he does. I wouldn't quite call Rodriguez chinny. But and he's also been robbed too. I think he got robbed against Petrosian.
I mean, he fought through that one fight when his fucking eye was, or his head. He has fought through some shit. So yeah.
And that the fight against Jung Young Park, right? That was another good one. So, he's shown adversity. I'm going RoboCop. I think he's better at this point in their careers.
All right, guys, there you have it. Drop us a comment. Let us know your favorite pick, your favorite prop, anything you see. If we find some good props that come out in the next day or so, we'll drop it in the comment section. Good luck. We'll talk after Saturday and on to the next one. See you guys.